The rain-slicked streets of Seattle gleamed under the sodium lamps like veins of molten silver, and Michael slammed his fist into the brick wall of the alley behind the coffee shop, the pain exploding up his arm like a betrayal he couldn't outrun. "Fuck you, Ethan," he whispered to the empty night, his voice cracking like thunder in the downpour, the scent of his own omega heat clinging to him like a curse no alpha could ignore, except the one fated to claim him. In that moment, as blood trickled from his knuckles and mixed with the puddles at his feet, Michael realized his destined bond was nothing but a chain forged in lies. And he was done waiting for it to snap. Michael had always believed in the pull, the invisible thread that the old stories swore tied omegas like him to their alphas from the moment of birth. It was supposed to be unbreakable. A cosmic GPS guiding you through the chaos of life straight into the arms of your mate. In the sprawling, fog-shrouded sprawl of Seattle, where tech bros in hoodies rubbed elbows with baristas slinging oat milk lattes, that bond felt like the only real thing in a world of algorithms and ghosting. But Ethan's rejection hit harder than any crash in the stock market his pack obsessed over. It started 6 months ago, at a pack gathering in the Cascade foothills. Michael's family, the Harrisons, were old money, logging barons turned real estate moguls, their alpha lineage tracing back to fur traders who'd clawed their way across the frontier. Ethan Caldwell was the golden boy, heir to a software empire, broad-shouldered with that effortless wasp charm, his scent like cedar smoke and ambition that made Michael's knees weak from across the room. The bond snapped into place the second their eyes locked, Michael's heat triggering early, his body flooding with pheromones that screamed mine to every alpha in the lodge. Ethan had frozen, nostrils flaring, then excused himself to take a call. By morning, he'd ghosted, sending a single text, "Not now." Pack business. That was Ethan's way, priorities over promises. As an alpha, he was built for boardrooms, not bedrooms. The Caldwells dominated Seattle's tech scene, coding apps that predicted market dips while ignoring the dips in their own empathy. Michael, a freelance graphic designer scraping by on gigs for indie bands and craft breweries, had thrown himself into the fantasy of us. Late-night texts turned to stolen kisses in Ethan's penthouse overlooking Puget Sound, the city lights twinkling like distant stars. "You're my omega," Ethan murmured once, his breath hot against Michael's neck, fingers tracing the claiming mark that hadn't yet scarred his skin. Fated. Destined. But destiny, Michael learned, came with fine print. Ethan's pack elders disapproved, an omega from a rival lineage. Even if diluted by generations of human blood, sloppy. And Ethan, ever the strategist, started pulling back. Meetings ran late. Trips to Silicon Valley for investor pitches. Michael's heats came and went unanswered, his suppressants barely holding the edge off the ache that clawed at his insides. He'd show up at Ethan's office in the Rainier Tower, all sharp suits and hopeful smiles, only to be waved off by his assistant with a pitying glance. Tonight was the breaking point. Michael's latest heat had hit like a freight train, the kind that left him feverish and feral, pacing his cramped Capitol Hill apartment with windows rattling from the storm. He'd driven through the deluge to Ethan's place, the Ferrari's wipers slapping like accusations. The doorman knew him, Michael Harrison, the omega who's gonna be Mrs. Caldwell someday, and buzzed him up without a word. But when the elevator dinged open, there was Ethan, shirtless and tousled, tangled in sheets with a beta intern from his marketing team. The air reeked of synthetic lube and cheap cologne. No Alpha-Omega bond in sight. "You're fated to me," Michael choked out, standing in the doorway like a ghost at his own funeral. Ethan bolted upright, eyes wide with that patented mix of guilt and calculation. "Shit, it's not," but the intern was already scrambling for her clothes. And Ethan didn't even chase her. She sighed, running a hand through his blonde hair. "This isn't about us. The pack needs stability. Marrying you? It'd tank the merger with Apex Dynamics. You're collateral, okay? Heat's over. Go home. Collateral." The word lodged in Michael's throat like shattered glass. He didn't remember leaving, but suddenly he was in that alley, fist bloody, rain washing away the evidence of his unraveling. His phone buzzed, another pack alert from his brother. Something about quarterly earnings, but he silenced it, staggering toward his beat-up Subaru. Seattle's nightlife pulsed around him, drag queens spilling out of bars on Broadway, techies nursing IPAs at dive spots, the distant hum of the monorail snaking through the clouds. But Michael felt adrift, his Omega instincts screaming for a knot that would never come. He ended up at the Den, a hole-in-the-wall Omega lounge tucked in Pioneer Square. It was the kind of place where suppressants flowed freer than the beer taps, and the air hummed with low-grade desperation. Michael slumped onto a stool, ordering a whiskey neat, American, PD, the burn matching the fire in his veins. The bartender, a grizzled beta named Gus with tattoos snaking up his arms like forgotten rivers, slid it over without asking questions. "Rough night? Kid," Gus grunted, polishing a glass. Michael downed half in one go, the liquid searing a path to his gut. "You could say that. My alpha just traded me for a hostile takeover." Gus chucklet, low and knowing. "Alphas. Always chasing the next beta upgrade. You got that look, though, faded glow. He'll come crawling back. Not this one." Michael's voice was steady, but his hands trembled. The bond tugged at him even now. A phantom ache low in his belly, whispering, "Wait. Endure. Submit. Fuck that." He was 26. Not some Victorian debutante waiting for her duke. He'd built a life sketching album covers for grunge revivals, volunteering at the local LGBTQ center, dreaming of a gallery show that didn't involve pack politics. Ethan had made him feel small, secondary, a plot twist in someone else's quarterly report. As the whiskey blurred the edges, a figure slid onto the stool beside him. With the kind of posture that screamed, "I own this room," without trying. Dark hair cropped short, wire-rimmed glasses perched on a nose that looked carved from marble, and eyes like polished obsidian, cold, utterly detached. He ordered a club soda, no lime, and didn't spare Michael a glance. But the scent hit like a rogue wave, alpha, pure and unyielding, laced with something sterile, like fresh code compiling in a server farm. Michael's heat responded before his brain could catch up, a traitorous flush creeping up his neck. Turned, half expecting Ethan 2.0, but this guy was different. No backswagger. No easy charm. Just quiet intensity, fingers drumming a staccato rhythm on the bar top as he scrolled through what looked like quantum equations on his phone. "Staring's rude," the stranger said without looking up, voice smooth as Seattle silk. edged with East Coast frost. Michael flushed deeper, but the whiskey gave him spine. "So's crashing my pity party." "Buy me another?" The alpha's gaze flicked over then, dissecting him in seconds, pupils dilating just a fraction at the omega pheromones. But his expression didn't crack. "You're in heat." "Bad idea." "Story of my life." Michael leaned in, the pull magnetic despite the chill radiating off the guy. "Name's Michael. And you look like you could use some bad ideas." The beat. Then, the faintest quirk of lips, not a smile, but an acknowledgement. "Alex. And I don't do distractions. Especially not faded rejects." Michael's laugh was bitter. Genuine. "How'd you? You're sent." Its screaming betrayed omega loud enough to wake the Space Needle. Alex pushed his club soda aside, finally facing him fully. Up close, he was stunning in that unapproachable way, high cheekbones, a jaw that could cut glass, dressed in a crisp button-down rolled to the elbows, revealing forearms corded with quiet strength. But his eyes, they held no hunger, no persistence. Just curiosity. Like Michael was a particularly intriguing variable in an equation. They talked, or rather, Michael spilled, words tumbling out like rain from the eaves. Finn's ghosting, the pack pressures, the way Destiny felt like a bad bet on a Mariners game. Alex listened, nodding occasionally, his responses clipped but incisive. Bonds are biochemical myths. Dopamine loops? Nothing more. By closing time, Michael's heat had ebbed to a dull throb, and Alex was walking him to his car, an umbrella shielding them from the drizzle. "Text me if you want to talk algorithms instead of assholes," Alex said, slipping a card into Michael's pocket. "Dear Alexander Voss, Ph.D. in Theoretical Physics, University of Washington. No pack affiliation, no flirist. Just a QR code linking to a GitHub repo on dark matter." Michael watched him vanish into the night, the card burning like a promise. For the first time in months, the bond's tug felt optional. Like maybe he could rewrite the code. The next week blurred into a haze of freelance deadlines and forced normalcy. Michael holed up in his apartment, a converted warehouse loft with exposed brick and views of the ferries cutting through Elliott Bay. He sketched furiously, stormy seascapes bleeding into abstract alphas, all sharp lines and shadowed hearts, pouring the pain into pixels. His brother, him, called from the family estate in Bellevue, voice booming with alpha bluster. "Heard about Ethan. Pack's buzzing. You okay? Pup. Fine Michael Lid." Sketching a cold-eyed genius into the margins. "Just need space." Liam chuckled. "Space? You're an omega in rut season. Get back here, there's a mixer with the Voss pack. Might snag you a consolation prize." Voss. The name pinged something. Michael's fingers froze on his tablet. A quick Google, Alexander Voss, prodigy physicist, orphan alpha raised in foster packs across the Midwest, now tenure track at UW. No scandals. No entanglements. The articles painted him as a ghost, brilliant, isolated, the kind of guy who solved string theory puzzles while the world burned. One photo, him at a TEDx, arms crossed, staring down the audience like they were mere particles in his orbit. Before he could overthink, Michael texted the number on the card. "Algorithms over assholes? Coffee tomorrow?" The reply was instant. Starbucks on University Avenue. 10 a.m. But no sugar. Bring your sketches. It was the start of something seismic. The Starbucks on University Avenue was a cathedral of caffeine and chaos, laptops glowing like altars, baristas chanting orders in a liturgy of syrups and shots. Michael arrived early, heart hammering harder than his heat ever had, clutching his sketchbook like a shield. He dressed casual cool, slim jeans hugging his runner's legs, a Henley that showed just enough collarbone to tease, hair tousled with product that smelled like sea salt and hope. Alex was already there, ensconced in a corner booth, surrounded by textbooks thicker than Michael's thigh and a laptop humming with simulations that looked like starbursts. "You're punctual," Alex noted, not looking up as Michael slid in across from him. He pushed a venti black coffee over, scalding, unadorned. "Efficiency's a virtue," Michael smirked, sipping to hide the flutter in his chest. "And cold shoulders are your superpower?" Alex's eyes met his then, dark and unblinking, like peering into a black hole. "Heat's a distraction. I suppress mine chemically, full blockade." No bonds? No bullshit. The admission hung there, raw as an exposed wire. Alphas didn't admit weakness, they conquered it. But Alex said it matter-of-factly, like discussing weather patterns. Michael's omega side purred at the challenge, the idea of an alpha who chose solitude over supremacy. "So what's your deal?" Physics god hiding from the pack life. Alex leaned back, fingers steepled. "Orphaned young. Bounced through systems, Illinois to Oregon. Beta guardians mostly. Learned early, attachments are variables that introduce error. Better to observe than entangle." He tapped his screen, pulling up a model of quantum entanglement. "See this? Particles linked across voids, influencing without touch. That's enough connection for me." Michael traced the screen with a fingertip, the glow illuminating his face. "Sounds lonely, but kinda hot." The whole Ice King vibe. A ghost of amusement crossed Alex's features. "Flattery's a beta tactic. Won't compute." They fell into rhythm after that, mornings at Starbucks morphing into afternoons in Alex's lab on campus, a sterile sanctum of white bards scrawled with equations that danced like fireflies. Michael brought sketches, trading line art for lessons in chaos theory, how butterflies in Brazil could hurricane Seattle, how one ignored text could unravel a faded bond. Alex was a master teacher, patient in his precision, dismantling Michael's defenses with surgical questions. Why chase a destiny that ignores you? Rewrite the premise. It was intoxicating, the way Alex saw him, not as an Omega prize but a collaborator. No possessive growls, no backbustering. Just two souls colliding in the quiet hum of fluorescent lights. One evening, as rain lashed the lab windows, Michael unburdened the full Ethan saga, the stolen weekends, the merger whispers, the intern's perfume still haunting his nightmares. Alex listened, chin on fist. Then, betrayal's entropy, increased disorder. "But you're not disordered, Michael. You're a system seeking equilibrium." He reached across the table, hesitating before brushing Michael's knuckles, the touch electric, voluntary. No bump, just choice. That night, Michael dreamed of equations resolving into embraces, waking slick and aching not for Ethan, but for the alpha who saw his fractures and called them beautiful. Word spread. Of course. Seattle's packs were a gossip mill finer than a French press. Liam cornered him at a family brunch in their sprawling Bellevue manse, crystal chandeliers dripping over platters of Dungeness crab and heirloom tomatoes. Was? The ice alpha? Jesus. You're rebounding with a calculator? He's more than that, Michael snapped. Fork clattering. Their mother, elegant in pearls, shot him a warning look. Her Omega Grace, a model he'd never quite emulated. Ethan's the calculator, crunching numbers on my heart. The table fell silent. Alphas shifting uncomfortably. Ethan's pack had announced the merger that morning. Shares spiking like a heat spike. Whispers of a strategic union, with a beta heiress from Portland rippled through the room. Ethan himself showed up uninvited, striding in like he owned the Lakeview. Blonde hair perfect, suit tailored to kill, scent flooding the space with that damned cedar promise. Michael, he said, voice low, pulling him aside into the sunroom where orchids wilted under neglect. We need to talk. Michael's body betrayed him, pulse racing, heat flickering at the edges. Talk? Like how you talk to your intern. Ethan winced. Genuine for once. That was a mistake. Just the one. I feel it pulling. But the pet. Dad's forcing my hand. Mary Claire. Secure the line. Then you and me. Off the grid. Vancouver. Say the word. The offer dangled like poisoned honey. Michael's mind flashed to Alex's lab. The sterile thrill of discovery over desperate clutches. And what if I say no? What if I'm done being your side quest? Ethan's jaw tightened. Alpha instincts flaring, pupils blowing wide. A growl rumbling low. You're mine. Fated. Don't make me prove it. The threat hung. Primal and ugly. Michael wrenched free, storming out to the driveway where his Subaru waited like a getaway car. He drove straight to UW, bursting into the lab at dusk. Alex was there, alone with his models, glasses fogged from a cooling simulation. Prove it, Michael panted, slamming the door. He thinks he can just claim me like a fucking patent. Alex rose slowly, crossing the room in 3 strides. Up close, his scent was clean, ozone and ink. No dominance play. Then deny him. Agency's the ultimate variable. Michael laughed. Wild and wet. Easy for you. Mister. Never needed anyone. Alex's hand cupped his jaw, thumb brushing a tear track. Maybe I need this. You. The hiss was inevitable, slow, exploratory. Alex's lips firm but yielding, tasting of coffee and certainty. No heat frenzy, just a spark igniting dry tinder. Michael's hands fisted in Alex's shirt, pulling him closer, the world narrowing to the slide of tongues and the rain's tattoo outside. They didn't fuck that night. Alex's boundaries were ironclad, suppressants holding his alpha at bay. Instead, they talked till dawn, bodies tangled on a lab couch, Michael's head on Alex's chest listening to the steady thump that needed no bond to beat true. But entropy, as Alex taught, always creeps in. 2 weeks later, the conflict erupted at a pack summit in the Olympic Mountains, cabins ringed by ancient cedars, alphas posturing over venison and vintage cab. Michael's family hosted a bid for reconciliation post-merger. Nathan was there with Claire on his arm, her beta laugh tinkling like wind chimes. but his eyes tracked Michael like a hawk scenting prey. Alex came as Michael's plus one, an anomaly in the fur and fawn crowd. He stuck to slacks and a sweater, sipping water while elders grilled him on lineage. Independent, he said flatly, hand brushing Michael's under the table, a silent "we." The tension peaked at the bonfire, flames crackling under a star-pricked sky. Ethan cornered Michael by the lake, water lapping like accusations. This Voss prick? He's a glitch. No peck. No future. Come back to me, I'll mark you tonight. Seal it. Michael's heat was building again. Treacherous. The Bond a siren song. You ignored me for shares. Alexisme. Alex. Ethan sneered. Stepping too close. Scent overwhelming. The genius who can't even not? He's playing you, using your sob story for data. I heard he's pitching a paper on Omega bonds. You're his lab rat. The words landed like a gut punch. Michael's vision swam, betrayal's echo. Sharp and fresh. He shoved Ethan back, stumbling into the woods, branches whipping his face. Doubts swarmed Alex's questions, always probing. How does the pull feel? Quantify the ache. Was it real? Or research? He found Alex by the fire's edge, staring into the blaze like it held the universe's secrets. Tell me it's not true, Michael demanded, voice raw. That I'm not just an experiment. Alex's face shuddered, that cold mask descending. Everything's data, Michael. But you're the anomaly I can't solve. He reached out, but Michael flinched. Data. Great. Another alpha reducing me to variables. Tears burned hot, mixing with the chill night air. Michael turned, fleeing to his car, the summit dissolving into taillights and regret. Back in Seattle, isolation set in like fog off the sound. Michael ghosted Alex, buried in work, designing murals for a pride float that felt like irony. Ethan texted apologies laced with possession, miss my Omega. Come home. But the bond felt frayed, a rope unraveling. Then, the real bomb dropped. A leaked email from Ethan's pack, plans to reclaim Michael post-marriage, using blockers to suppress his heats until compliant. Collateral. Indeed. Rage boiled over. Michael forwarded it to Liam, igniting a pack war that made headlines, tech titan feud, bonds or billions. In the crossfire, Alex appeared at his door, rain-soaked and resolute. It's not pity or data. I suppressed because I feared this, losing control. But you make the chaos worth it. Michael hesitated. Heart a battlefield. Prove it. No questions. Just us. Alex stepped inside, door clicking shut like fate rewriting itself. The loft smelled of takeout pad thai and fresh betrayal when Alex crossed the threshold, his button-down clinging translucent to the lean planes of his chest. Michael's space was a riot of creativity, canvases leaning like drunken soldiers, fairy lights strung over a bed that hadn't seen company since Ethan. He paced now, bare feet slapping the hardwood, while Alex stood frozen in the entryway, water pooling at his loafers. You're soaked, Michael said finally. The words a bridge or a barrier, he couldn't tell. He grabbed a towel from the bathroom, tossing it over. Their fingers brushed, and there it was, no faded spark, but a current all their own, humming like a well-tuned circuit. Alex caught the towel, rubbing his hair vigorously, glasses fogging anew. I drove from the lab. Equations weren't helping. He peeled off the shirt without preamble, revealing skin pale as moonlight, marked only by a faint scar across his ribs. Foster system souvenir. Michael guessed. Vulnerability in the open. No alfabrevado. Michael's breath hitched, heat coiling low despite the suppressants he'd popped like candy. You look like a drowned professor. So, I'll make you him, right? You mentioned it once. In that ramble about quantum decoherence. Alex's laugh was rare. A soft huff that warmed the room. You remember that? Every word. Michael busied himself in the kitchenette, water kettle whistling like an impatient audience. When he returned with mugs steaming, Alex was perched on the edge of the couch, towel around his shoulders, eyes tracing the mural Michael had started post-summit, a fractured space needle piercing storm clouds, shards resolving into constellations. It's you, Alex said quietly. The storm. The stars. Michael sank beside him, close enough their knees knocked. Flattery from the cold genius? Kef. I might thaw you. The air thickened, charged with unsaid. Alex set his mug down, turning to face him fully, those obsidian eyes stripped bare. No walls. I was wrong. About isolation. It's not strength, it's fear. After the systems, betas who handed me off like luggage, alphas who saw potential but not a pup, I built firewalls. Suppressants were my moat. But you breached it? Michael. You're the variable that stabilizes me. The confession cracked something in Michael's chest. A dam bursting. He leaned in, capturing Alex's mouth, not with heat's frenzy, but deliberate, savoring the taste of rain and resolve. Alex responded in kind, hands framing Michael's face, thumbs tracing jawlines like mapping a new theorem. It was slow, reverent, shirts shed in whispers, skin meeting skin in the lamplight. Alex's body was a revelation, wiry strength from late-night runs along the Burke-Gilman Trail. Not pack bulk. No rush to knot. Instead, fingers exploring scars and freckles, mouths charting territories unclaimed. When they finally tumbled to the bed, it was mutual surrender. Michael's heat-crested gentle, guided by Alex's steady commands, not alpha dominance, but collaborative precision, here. Like this. Tell me what you need. Climax built like a symphony, cresting in shared gasps. Alex's release spilling without the bond's imperative. Just raw connection. Afterward, they lay tangled. Seattle's skyline a backdrop to breaths sinking like pendulums. I love you, Michael murmured into the hollow of Alex's throat, the words slipping free like truth serum. Alex stiffened, then softened, pressing a kiss to his temple. I compute it. It's illogical, but empirical. The pause. I love you too. Dawn brought fragility. Michael's phone exploded. Liam, pack wars on. Ethan's challenging Alex to right of claim. Old school. Right of claim, archaic pack law. Alphas dueling for omegas in the wilds. Blood and bone. Winner takes scent rights. Michael's stomach plummeted. He can't. Alex isn't pack. Doesn't matter, Alex said. Already dressing? Calm as compiling code. It's theater. I'll decline. No. Michael grabbed his arm. Hazel eyes fierce. We fight it together. Show them choice over chains. The right was set for the Snoqualmie Pass, ancient ground. Pines whispering secrets to the wind. Packs gathered like storm clouds. Harrisons in earth tones. Caldwells in sleek black. Neutrals from the city fringes. Ethan arrived armored in tradition, leather vest over tactical gear. Scent amplified by blockers. Eyes burning with reclaimed possession. Claire watched from the sidelines, her beta poise cracking into something like relief. Alex, true to form, showed in khakis and a windbreaker. A tablet under arm instead of claws. This is barbaric, he muttered to Michael, who stood buffered by Liam's bulk. Welcome to the food chain, Liam grunted, clapping Alex's shoulder, a rare alpha nod. But hey, brain over brawn. Go. Nerd. The circle formed at dusk. Elders chanting in guttural old tongue. Flames leaping from a central pyre. Ethan stepped forward. Voice booming, by blood and bond. I claim what's fated. Guild. Or bleed. Alex met his gaze. Unflinching. Fate's a fallacy. Michael's not property. He's chosen. Snarls rippled. Ethan lunged, fist first. Alpha speed blurring. Alex dodged. Lithe as a shadow. But took a glancing blow to the ribs that cracked like dry lightning. Michael lunged forward. But Liam held him, let him fight. It wasn't pretty. Ethan was brute force. Swings wild with pack rage, Alex was strategy. Weaving through strikes. Landing precise counters, a knee to the thigh. An elbow to the solar plexus. Blood flecked the dirt. Ethan's lip splitting. Alex's brow gashed. But Alex's eyes never left Michael's. An anchor in the fray. Then the twist, Ethan fainted low. Pulling a concealed blade, silver. Etched with Caldwell runes. Desperate. It slashed toward Alex's throat. But Michael broke free. Tackling Ethan mid-arc. They hit the ground rolling. Michael's omega strength fueled by fury. Enough, he roared. Pinning Ethan's wrist until the knife skittered free. Silence crashed. Elders surged. But Alex was there. Hauling Michael up. Wiping blood from his cheek with a gentleness that belied the gore. You okay? Ethan staggered up. Defeated not just physically, but utterly, eyes hollow. The bond's illusion shattered. Go, Michael said. Voice steel. Merge your empires. But I'm done. The right dissolved in murmurs. Packs fracturing like ice on the pass. As stars wheeled overhead, Alex and Michael retreated to a cabin overlook, bandaging wounds by lantern light. You saved me, Alex whispered, stitching Michael's shallow cut with thread from his pack. You saved yourself, Michael countered, leaning into him. We both did, but victory tasted bittersweet. Whispers followed, Ethan's downfall. The merger tanking on scandal. Claire bolting with insider trades. Guilt nod, had Michael toppled an empire for love? And Alex? His suppressants faltered in the adrenaline. Alpha instincts stirring unbidden. One night, poster, he pinned Michael to the wall. Nödsvalling. Eyes feral. Hint control. Michael kissed him through it. Guiding. Grounding. Then don't. Trust me. It was messy. Primal. the first true knot? Binding not by fate but consent. Afterward, sated and scarred, they talked futures, Alex's grant for bond research, Michael's gallery dreams. But shadows loomed, pack reprisals, Ethan's unraveling. The climax hit in a boardroom ambush. Ethan, cornered by audits and exile threats, cornered Michael at his freelance meetup in Belltown, a rooftop mixer with artists nursing craft cocktails. "You ruined me," he hissed, cornering Michael against the railing. City sprawl yawning below. Scent flooded, bond yanking vicious, Ethan's hand clamped Michael's throat. Not bruising but possessive. One word. An I in Voss. Your genius? Packless. Exposed. Terror iced Michael's veins. Let go. Ethan. This isn't you. It's us. Ethan's grip tightened. Eyes manic. Faded. A shadow detached from the skyline. Alex? Silent as quantum foam. Tablet discarded. He tracked via shared location, paranoid genius perk. Release him, Alex said. Voice arctic. No charge. No roar, just fact. Ethan laughed. Broken. Or what? Calculate me to death? Alex stepped closer. Empty-handed. Or I tell the world your secret. The emails. The blade. The blockers you dosed Claire with to fake fertility. I hacked your servers last week, entropy's a bitch. Bluff or truth? Ethan's face drained. Hands springing open. He backed away. Teetering on the edge, literal and not. You wouldn't. I would. For him. Alex's tone brooked no variable. Ethan fled into the night. A ghost of his former self. Michael collapsed against Alex. Sobs racking. How did you? Love's the best algorithm. Alex held him as sirens wailed distant. The city healing around them. In the aftermath, Seattle felt reborn. Crisp autumn winds stripping leaves from the maples lining Queen and Hill, mirroring the shedding of old skins. Ethan's empire crumbled like overbrewed coffee, SEC probes, Paxisms, him vanishing to a beta clinic in the Rockies for reprogramming. Whispers painted him as cautionary, a faded alpha undone by his own code. Michael grieved not the man, but the illusion, journaling sketches of fractured bonds until the pages overflowed. Alex's world shifted too. He dialed back suppressants, letting alpha facets emerge in controlled bursts, protective glances at gallery openings. A low growl when street harassers catcalled Michael on the Ave. Their research grant ballooned. UW funding a study on voluntary entanglements, with Michael as co-author. His lived data the heart. Evenings blurred into domestic poetry, cooking fusion, Alex's precise stir-fries meeting Michael's chaotic improv spices, followed by couch sessions decoding the expanse through physics lenses. But peace was fragile, etched in the fine lines around Alex's eyes. One night, 3 months post-ambush, he woke thrashing, nightmares of foster cells bleeding into right blood. Michael soothed him with touches and truths. You're safe. We're constants. The human element crept in subtle, a vulnerability Alex named the Beta Echo. At a holiday pack truce in the Harrisons' estate, Liam pulled Michael aside amid twinkling lights and spiked eggnog. Voss is solid, but alphas need packs. He ever talk legacy? Fits? Heirs. Michael's gut twisted. Legacy, Omegaverse relics. Surrogates or adoptions in modern packs. Alex had dodged it, his isolation a shield against paternal ghosts. He doesn't need. Everyone does. Liam clapped his back. Don't let love blind you to roots. The seed rooted. Michael broached it gingerly. Over dim sum in the international district. Steam rising like unspoken fears. Future stuff. Maybe? Not now. But ever. Alex's chopsticks paused. Face paling. Children? That's uncontrolled variables. Exponential chaos. Not chaos. Family. Michael's voice softened. Hand over Alex's. You'd be amazing, teaching them stars, showing them equations for empathy. A war raged behind Alex's glasses, logic versus longing. I never considered. After the systems. What if I replicate the cycle? Then we break it. Together. Tears, rare for Alex, glimmered. Illogical. But possible. Spring unfurled with possibility. Michael's gallery show debuted in Fremont, entangled threads. Abstracts of bonds rewoven, storm alphas yielding to starlit geniuses. Alex stood beside him in a rare suit. Hand in Michael's. Enduring small talk with stoic grace. Critics raved. Harrison captures the queer quantum heart of American reinvention. Ethan resurfaced then. The specter at the opening, thinner. Eyes haunted. Clutching a nondescript envelope. No confrontation. He approached humbly. Scent muted by meds. Michael came to apologize. Properly. The crowd milled oblivious. Jazz humming low. Michael's pulse spiked. But Alex's thumb stroked his palm, anchor. Say it. Ethan swallowed. I weaponized fate. Treated you like code to crack? Not a person. The bond blinded me, made me cruel. I lost everything chasing it. You deserved better. Michael nodded. Ache dulling to empathy. You can rebuild. Without the chains. Ethan handed the envelope, divorce papers from Claire. Pack exile waived on conditions, therapy, restitution. For you. Closure. He glanced at Alex. A nod grudging but genuine. Take care of him. 'Tis extraordinary. As Ethan melted into the night, Michael exhaled, turning to Alex. Human. Even villains get arcs. Redemption's a variable too. Alex kissed his temple. Soft amid the swirl. Summer sealed it. A road trip down the Oregon coast. Subaru hugging cliffs where waves crashed like applause. They camped under Big Sur pines. Noted. Just telescopes and tails. One night. Fireflies dancing. Alex knelt on the sand. Ring glinting. A simple band. Tungsten etched with their equation. M plus A equals infinity. Marry me, he said. Voice steady as Seattle rain. Not fate. Choice. Tears blurred Michael's vision. Just 1,000 times. The wedding was quintessentially American, backyard affair in Capitol Hill. Fairy lights and food trucks slinging lobster rolls and vegan tacos. Packs mingled warily. Liam toasting, to anomalies and assholes reformed. Gus the bartender officiated. Voice gravelly, you too? Proof loves no algorithm, it's the glitch that makes it all work. Vows exchanged under a rainbow flag arbor, Michael's tearful promise to chase your stars, Alex's vow to solve us every day. The kiss sealed it. defiant. Cheers erupting like fireworks over the sound. Years folded forward. Michael's murals graced Seattle's walls. A queer landmark series on chosen families. Alex tenured. Their lab a haven for Omega studies. Debunking destiny myths with data from willing hearts. They adopted a beta boy from the system, wide-eyed and wiry, named Theo for theory. Fatherhood cracked Alex open, bedtime stories blending quarks and quests. Michael's sketches animating their world. One evening, Theo at sleep. They stood on the balcony. City lights a constellation below. Regret anything? Michael asked. Head on Alex's shoulder. Only suppressing sooner. Alex's arm tightened. You turn my isolation to us. Destined? Better, deliberate. Michael smiled. Hazel eyes reflecting the glow. In America's vast, flawed tapestry, where bonds broke and rebuilt, alphas humbled and omegas rose, they'd woven their thread. Not faded, but forged. Human, message, eternal. And in the quiet, as fairies horned distant, Michael knew love wasn't a pull. It was the choice to stay, even when the rain fell.